All right, welcome to Lunch and Learn, everyone. Um, I am Jeremy, and I will be leading our call today to talk about whatever it is that we need. If you have any questions, please post them in the chat, and I would be happy to help and discuss some things and take a look at whatever it is that we want to look at today. While we wait to see if anyone else joins or if we're going to have any questions, I'll kind of go through the general housekeeping things. And just point out a couple things to check out. So we do have our solutions marketplace, lots of great applications, great things to check out. Um, some really neat tools that you can try to use and may have some useful applications in just in learning some general things about decisions or how to do some things, or also just great applications that you may want to use. So you can always check those out, and there's a lot of really good stuff there. We also have our YouTube channel where we post all of our lunch and learns, but also where we've been posting YouTube content with other things, step by steps to discuss specific steps in decisions, as well as a number of other really neat topics. Like we recently put one up about extension data that goes deep into the concept of how extension data works in some of the places that you see it and how you can create it in some places that you may not realize it's there, stuff like that. So a lot of really cool videos and stuff on the YouTube channel. It's decisions dash support if you wanted to look it up, or you could use that QR code. Otherwise, just waiting to see if anyone has any questions. I see we only really have one person in so far. Not sure if you had any specific thoughts or things you wanted to look at VT or not, but um, we can see what else we got. Let's see here. Also, no pre-submitted questions either. Well, I guess if we don't have any questions immediately, I'll kind of give a snapshot of an upcoming video that I'll be working on that we'll have on our YouTube channel hopefully pretty soon. Discussing there's a bunch of different great default dashboards that Decisions has. And so, obviously, most people are pretty familiar with, you can create your own pages, create your own reports, create your own dashboards, views, and all kinds of that kind of stuff, within projects and anything that you want. But we do also have specific sets of dashboards that may be helpful for different situations. And so if you go to Administration and System Tools, there's a bunch of different options here that we can look at that really give us a lot of good insight on different things and decisions. Some of them may be more useful for others. Some of them are, widely useful. Some of them may be more specific. But there's a ton of dashboards you can choose from. You can see I'm in Event Viewer here, and I got all of these dashboards across the top and a whole list of more to choose from. And that's just in the Event Viewer. And there's more in some of these other categories as well that really open up to, help us understand a lot of these things. So, um, a lot of them do have some pretty useful, use cases and stuff. System activity is a good one. This one really kind of displays every 15 or every 30 seconds. Um, all of the different like flows that have run, steps, rule executions, thread jobs, that kind of thing, API calls, and all this information, so you can have an idea of what's being used. So if you're having any like noticing any slowness on your server, you can always there's like a neat little snapshot to kind of give you an idea, especially if there's like certain time frames that it's happening a lot in. Um, and this actually directly correlates with some of the files in the file system that deal with this, the usage files and usage details. You can also look at the details and get more information about them as well. So there's a lot of good information here in the system activity. You can always track users, see how many users have logged in, when they've logged in. If you have, if you care about users that are logging in or those that are currently active to kind of track them, track how often people are logging in, what they're doing, certain days that are, more frequent, stuff like that. Some pretty cool things in there. Um, you can check information about like restarts. So when something was restarted, if it doesn't have a reason, like certain events will automatically have reasons like an upgrade, but you can also set a reason. So if you want to, if you had to manually restart, but you want to still track it in this report, you can always check that. Um, and if you're doing something that may have multiple machines and things like that, you can also see that details here. This is just my local, so we're not going to see anything different in this example, but there's definitely a lot of useful stuff in here. There's three different dashboards that deal with code compiling, so that's definitely very useful, especially if you have any code compilation issues. Um, and so you can easily track, you know, uh, the different code buckets that you have available, the install history, and like when you installed different things, the sizes of them, when they were installed, the date, all that kind of stuff. And then you can also track results, so you can see if any errors occurred and what those errors were, projects that they were connected to, that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of really neat things in here. But we do actually have a question now. So let me take a look at that. Let's see here. Is there an easy way to achieve the following? In reports, having a set of comma-separated values, like selected states, and then also if there's more than three values, display only three, and a link to show more that displays a pop-up with a full list. All right. Let me uh, take a closer look at this then. We're having a set of comma separated values. And if there's more than three, display only three and it show more. Let's create a quick report and maybe try to check this out. I'll give you the opportunity as well, VT, if you wanted to talk or add any extra things to this while I'm setting this up. I'm not 100% sure. I just kind of have to play around with it and we'll see what we can do with this. Actually, I'm just going to create a quick case entity and throw some states into this. Since you just mentioned states, I think we can do it this way pretty easily
No,
and
Jeremy,
kind of check some stuff.
I didn't mean those states. I meant just like US states. So, for example, at some point
Oh, I see
in the
what you mean.
process, yeah, I have like a multi-select drop down, and I would like to select them United States, right? So one rule will apply to one state, and maybe another rule will apply to 25 states. And on the report, I would save it as a comma separated and display, but I don't want that column to be big. So I would like to have something like these three states, but if more selected, then show more.
Got it. Okay, interesting. Let me just see what kind of things. I'm just going to throw this on here real quick just to see what kind of options we have then on this. Mm, do it. And we can sort. Hmm. Gregory, I'm not sure if you've dealt with anything similar to this or not, or if you have any ideas. If you do, let me know.
I'm trying to
Otherwise,
test on my end, and the first thing that my mind goes to is setting up a rich text view instead of a data view in order to get that list. But I'm not certain how this will look or what formatting needs to be done. I was actually, while you're working on this, I was trying to pull up on my end to test to see if that would work.
that's a good thought. I'm not sure which one might be the best, or if there is a good one. It's definitely a really interesting or neat thought. I'm just not 100% sure if there's a easy way to do that for sure. Interesting.
Let me try on my end real quick.
Mhm.
This will be just a few moments. We do have a combined text fields calculated column to be able to put different ones together.
A couple questions here. So, can we combine, for example, for the first one, it would be a flow that would check if there is more than three states selected or whatever they selected. And then if yes, then combine it with the uh, flow, like a link flow to run the popup that will say show more.
I just realized I muted myself. Um, so what you might be combining then is a text field with a run flow inline field so that they could click on a link, it would run and update what's being shown there and fetch all the entities. That might be possible.
Yeah, but on another side, if they have more, if they have less than three selections, uh, I don't want to say show more because there's nothing to show.
I see. So we would need some logic in place as well. I'm wondering if this is something that may not be fully configurable on the report side, but maybe actions within ADV or ADG. I need to confirm that.
Yeah, and then there's also just in general the obvious like running flow inline fields and any kind of like flow running like that in a report. Something you always want to be careful of because that can have massive performance hits, especially if these are going to be large reports. Um, Always something you want to be careful of because if it's trying to, have that ability to run that every single time, you want to be very careful with those for sure.
On run flow inline, can you return the HTML text and would that render HTML?
Run flow line in fields. Let's see here.
So for example, I can create that HTML instead of that run flow inline, but if I return HTML into the column, would that be in HTML format or would it actually render my HTML?
I don't. I mean, I know you can show what it displays. I guess this is HTML, so I would think it would. My initial thought would be you would be able to, because you can set this to come in as HTML.
Can you create some a simple HTML saying like a span and some text and close span?
One second. No, it looks like it doesn't, or at least it doesn't recognize some of the stuff.
Um, it strips out the. Huh.
I mean, it does. I guess it shows some of it, but not all of it.
Now that's interesting actually. Can you just leave H1, just remove everything, and just leave this third line?
You said remove everything except for this. Is that
Yeah,
what you said?
yeah. Okay. Now, okay, so that strips the opening
Yeah, it
tag.
restricts the opening. Yep.
Uh, if you at the beginning of the line, can you input like a closing tag? Just slash and
Like
greater
that.
than, yeah, yeah, try that.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not super familiar with HTML rating stuff. It doesn't do
Uh,
anything with that.
can you can you open developer tools and highlight to see what the actual text is on the run flow? That's my first heading. Open browser DevTools.
Yep. Oh man, I always forget what these things are. I'm not super big on
More tools.
there we go.
It looks like it works when you drop the ending. Just have the starting open characters for the HTML seems to do the trick. As weird as that sounds. And then drop the
Yeah, yeah.
there you go.
But can you do something like more complex, like let's say a link? Would
Check.
that keep the link? I think I've done something like that. So yeah, maybe it's not the best, but it's doable.
See. I forgot to delete the last part. It loses the actual link that was in front of it, though. It only keeps the text related to that. So it actually lost all of that.
Yeah, you wouldn't HTML that. You see the insert link button above there on the editor, top right near the pictures?
Yeah, you do that.
Yep.
Yeah, but the point is that I'm gonna return this HTML from the flow. It's gonna be run flow that will return this HTML string.
Right.
Can you close this and open DevTools and see why is it stripping that? Close this add calculated and just hover on that link. Make it smaller.
Hmm.
And there is a selector.
Whoops. Oh, it actually accessed it.
Does that work?
I left clicked and it actually did go to it. I did just lose that though.
Okay, so it works.
Yes, it did actually work as the link to what I had linked there. It just didn't show the show it like that or make it
Okay,
clear that it was.
okay, I can do it this way. Yeah.
Yeah, just yeah. So yeah, I guess it does work with the HTML stuff, and like we kind of pointed out cutting out the end because it strips the beginning and not the end. And then, just our general reminder is you always want to be careful with flow inline fields because they can be major performance issue
Yeah,
causers.
I get that. I do not expect that report to be big.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, you're pretty you're pretty versed in some stuff. We always wanna point this stuff out. All right, cool. Anything else related to this you wanted to check out while
No,
we're looking at it?
no.
Great. Right. James, I see you entered. If you have any questions, please feel free to post them, or raise your hand or anything. We've got a pretty small group here today. We actually just finished our only other question that we've had so far, so don't have a lot going on if you have something you wanted to take a look at. Okay. Where can I find the assignment default email template?
Yeah, you know that when you send out an email, when you send out a task by default, there's an email template that gets created based on your, task name and all that stuff. You can turn that off if you got your own, but where's that default one? Where can I look at that? I may want to make modifications to it or at least copy it and use it for our purposes. Because I like some features on it, but I don't like others.
Uh,
It seems to be it's probably in somewhere where you keep all your templates. I forget where that would be. Probably in designers somewhere. Maybe in catalog, system default or something. I don't know.
yeah. Hmm.
I looked around for a little bit, but I couldn't find it, so I probably looking it up for it.
Is it under email templates there under designers or
Did I
a
just
little bit higher above entity extensions?
Let me, well,
oh up here? I think this is. Oh yeah, there we go. There's a default template in here. Whoops. That just the HTML for that. I mean, you can update it with whatever. It may be this. I'm not 100% sure.
uh, so what are those templates? Are they just HTML objects or something? What
Yeah.
are they? Okay,
Yeah, I mean, you download it. It's just an HTML template.
okay. All right, I'll look it up.
Yeah. And then, I mean, obviously you can create your own
Yeah,
there
yeah.
per project and everything like that if
Yeah,
you
I
need
just
to.
I wanted to look at, because there are some features on it that I'm not quite sure how to duplicate on yours, like the
Hmm.
buttons and stuff, so I want to look at that. I mean, I could, but I just want to see. It's already done.
Yeah, my best guess, I think of that might be the only thing.
Okay, I'll take a look at it.
Let's see if there's anything else. Oh, that's just the report. I was like, what? I was gonna be surprised if I found it immediately. That was just the report that I was just looking at. Yeah, I mean, I can see like there's like some flows related to it. I don't know if this is anything. That's just a quick help.
I thought that's how it would be. It'd be like an HTML edited thing that you could go in and look it up.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's some stuff about them, but these are just the page in the report that we were just looking at on that one view.
Mhm.
Not sure if there's anything else that sticks out. Yeah, and these are just that page related to my projects. So yeah, I think it's just those.
Okay, I'll take a look at that and see if I can. Okay.
Hmm. Anything else from either of you? Otherwise, we can maybe end it early, but obviously, I don't want to
For
shortchange if anyone else has anything else we want to look at.
yeah, for James, I've tried to create my templates for emails. It's kind of hard to manage variables on the template, and it's not consistent between different clients, like for example, Google Gmail client or Outlook. So what I've done, I've just created a flow that would generate HTML and just use the send email step. That way you
Okay,
can control.
right.
But
You mean the the default one's not conducive to
oh no,
different emails?
I would not use. I would turn off
Yeah,
send email on the assignment and just on
yeah,
step run.
right,
I would launch that flow.
right. Yeah, that's what I've done. That's exactly what I've done. And that I was, but I was looking at the generic one and wanted to look at some of the features on it. That's all. Yeah, I have turned off the default one pretty much.
All right. Well. any other questions, thoughts, things you want me to take a look at?
Just something I learned. I don't know if this is common knowledge or not, but I use the set energy state on my trigger flows a lot. Um,
Hmm.
and I found that once you do that, it immediately kicks off the trigger flow for the next state before just before any steps after it. So in other words, it's got to be the last thing to do if you want to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes,
Because I
yeah.
was getting tripped up by that. It's like, why isn't this happening, for my next trigger flow?
Hmm.
And that those steps were afterwards. And I figured out, oh, well, it doesn't wait till your flow's done to set off the next trigger. It does it immediately as soon
Yeah,
as you
yep.
set that state.
It specifically looks for that. As soon as it hits that state, it will automatically run it
Yeah.
100%.
And yeah. So once I realized that, then I just had to make sure that setting state was in the very last thing, and everything else was done, which took a little manipulation because I have to basically hold a variable now with the state that I want it to eventually be in. Whereas before I was kind of doing it in the logic of the flow to
Right.
set the state, and you just gotta do it that way and set the state at the very end. I
Yep.
just didn't know that it was a gotcha for me.
Yeah, it, one of those things you kind of get used to a little bit, but
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah,
little mini like workarounds you gotta always deal with
yeah, it's
sometimes.
no big deal. Just
Yeah, it could be
set it a
worse.
variable to hold it. Yeah, but I just didn't realize. I assumed, I guess, assumed wrongly that it would just wait till the flow was done and then, kick off the trigger flow based on the state. But
Right.
yeah,
Jeremy, I do have one.
Yeah,
So
sure.
on from yesterday, were you able to figure out what that on fetch entities action does? There's a checkbox to fetch
Yes.
edit something, edit copy.
Oh, yes, I remember you guys talking about that yesterday.
Fetch edit copy of and after
Oh,
sort.
fetch, edit
Yep.
copy identity. Yeah, this one here.
Hmm.
I know Robert was looking at it yesterday. Did he say he was going to send something about it? Or I can't remember
Um,
exactly.
Not for me because it wasn't my question.
It wasn't your question. Oh, okay. I might have to ask him. He's actually not in today. Um, so I might have to double check with him if he had got more details on it and sent it to the person that had asked because I had to jump from our call earlier yesterday. So I didn't actually see the resolution. Um, but I can definitely take a look and double check and get the answer for sure and get back to you. Unless Gregory, if you know if there's more specifics that came of that in the middle of the call or not.
This was for populating.
This was that the checkbox, the fetch edit copy of entity.
Oh, no, I didn't get any more information outside of what he said. I think he mentioned that it had something to do with caching, if I recall. And saving afterward is not going to affect what you fetch because it's not related to what you fetch, but I think it was. I need to check with him. I apologize. I don't recall immediately because he did give a pretty good explanation of it. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. I can actually probably review the previous lunch and learn and figure that out. So
Yeah, I know he asked someone in sales engineering about it and they kind of explained it to him, but I didn't get the whole thing. I'd ask him right now, but he's just not in right now. So, but we can definitely try to get that answer for sure and then come back.
Okay.
looking right now, see if I have that answer.
Oh, can you actually do a quick test? If you click on that show query in the output, and uncheck it, see if what's the difference between queries.
I
Yeah,
think
like,
it just shows you specifically the like the query version of what we ran.
right, but what's gonna be the difference between the queries if you fetch edit?
Oh, you mean using the got it with that checkbox for the cache thing or not?
Yes,
Got it.
yes, like no luck. What if you uncheck that edit?
Okay. Doesn't
Same,
look any
same.
different. Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah, okay. Maybe it's
I
stupid, but
think,
maybe if somebody edits at the time, edits an entity, maybe it fetches that because when you edit
yeah.
entity, it puts a lock on that.
I
Maybe.
think it's related to like, right, like if you're using any like cached outcomes or anything like that, like you're caching the data, then it can change like what you're like what exactly you're grabbing. So if someone's actually, like you kind of mentioned, if someone's like editing it, then there's a difference between what it might grab. And so it can manipulate if you have a situation where that there may be like edits happening, but you don't want it to necessarily always you want it to grab those or not. You can use
Hmm.
that to, kind of help protect you from or, more customize exactly what you're grabbing.
Yeah, like you could override somebody's edit session.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Well, I appreciate everyone's questions that we had for today and the assistance. So we will continue the rest of this week. We've got Gregory leading tomorrow and then Jared on Thursday. So um, we'll continue on with our lunch and learns. Thank you for joining our pretty small group today, and we'll see you all next time.
Adios,
Have a good
y'all.
day, everybody.